Good part of the day, dear listeners. In today's lesson, we should talk about people and relationships. So, as we being a people and doing some kind of relationships, being in a relationships, we should aware of some kind of communicating styles with them. That's why, according to our contents, in order to describing the person's personality, we should use adjectives for describing their personality and characters. In order to talking about relationships, we have to know describing relatives and their relationships with them. And of course, in order to speaking, doing communication with somebody, we need some kind of useful topic vocabulary as modifying. And I'm going to give some kind of exam technique, which is meant to know a word. And yes, it is how do you learn a new vocabulary. And of course, according to the pronunciation, strong forms and weak forms of prepositions are available in English language. That's why we have to practice with them in order to getting higher markers in the exam. And without the grammar, we can not imagine all the answers and structures. So we should think about the tenses while you are speaking or being in the communication. So let's find the meaning of some kind of adjectives. So it's topic vocabularies in order to describing person's character and personality below. Ambitious, good fun, noisy, reliable, blunt, hardworking, judgmental, oversensitive, stingy, open-minded, self-assured, clever, impatient, outgoing, sociable, and creative. Let's define the meaning of these words. So, ambitious person who has got having a strong desire to achieve success or reach their goals. And good fun, enjoyable to be around, someone who makes activities more enjoyable. Reliable, this person dependable and trustworthy, someone you can count on all the time. You can be dependent to this person with sharing your secrets and also taking some kind of useful advice from them. Hardworking, putting in a lot of effort and dedication to work and task all the time. Hardworking person. So I remembered in my applicant time, I was a hardworking, but I'm a bit lazy now. These have positive meanings: ambitious, good fun, reliable, and hardworking. And I'm continuing giving some kind of examples for positive description of characters. Open-minded person willing to consider new ideas and different opinions. And next one is self-assured, confident in one's own abilities or character. Clever, quick to understand, learn and devise or apply ideas. Intelligent. So outgoing person is friendly and social, enjoying the company of others. Sociable, enjoying being with other people, friendly and talkative. So while we are translating some of the vocabulary into Uzbek language from English, outgoing, sociable, and open-minded person they have got some kind of similar meaning, but in order to using them in the correct context, you should aware of the origin of the meanings. So friendly and talkative is sociable, and enjoying being company like a friendly and social person is outgoing. And open-minded person, this person all the time willing to consider new ideas, be ready to think about new ideas and different opinions to give to you and to get from you. And we have got some kind of people around us who is very creative. And creative person able to think of new ideas, making some things in an imaginative way. So, and also as well as being positive adjectives, we have got some negative adjectives in order to describing person's character or personality. Let's look up together. Oversensitive. Oversensitive person easily hurt or offended, reacting strongly to criticism or negative comments all the time. Next word is stingy. Stingy, unwilling to spend money or share miserly. Impatient, easily annoyed by delays or difficulties, lacking patience. Noisy, yes, it sounds like nose, the part of body, kind of sound it has, nosy. So it's remembered to collocate with the part of body this adjective. Inquisitive about other people's affairs, overly interested in others' private matters, what's doing, what was happening, kind of noisy person. Blunt, very direct in speech, yes, often to the point of being rude or tactless. Blunt. Judgmental. Judgmental, quick to form opinions about others, often in a critical way. So, in order to giving description to somebody, it would be better if you use some kind of advanced grammatical structures as given on your screen. I consider myself to be, and I would say I was. Let's practice together. So, I consider myself to be. In order to using this grammatical structure, you should be ready to speak about yourselves. So, I consider myself as a reasonable person, so I give my character here. I consider myself as a reasonable person. This is a slight less formal, but perfectly acceptable version of I consider myself to be a reasonable person. And the second structure is I would say I was. I would say is more polite of saying way you have to say. You are presenting it's a possibility rather than as something definitely established in the communication. As it stands, the passage given is ungrammatical. And also, we have to use some kind of useful vocabulary in order to expressing the relationships between people. For example, the first word is not word kind of phrase, get on with somebody. It means getting on with somebody very well. And next one is look up to somebody, be in touch with somebody, fall out with somebody, grow apart from somebody, take after somebody, grow up together or grow up with somebody, be close to somebody. And this useful vocabulary, let's practice together in order to expressing our relationship between other people. For example, I take after my dad. We are both quite careless. So take after here, it means we looks like according to our characters. As a young athlete, Jake always looked up to his older brother, who was a star player on the local football team. So, looked up, so it seemed like that, it means. And next example, even though they moved to different cities, Maria and her childhood friend are still in touch and have regular video calls in order to communicating each other's kind of hi, hello, to keep in touch. Yes. And it's very important to use adjectives as modifying, giving some kind of clear adjectives, clear qualities of the person's character. We can use adverbs like really and so before a positive adjectives. Example, she is really outgoing. He was so creative. So really and so their duty here, their role is here is modify the meaning. When you can use the same adverbs before a negative adjectives, but we normally do this only if you do not like the person or are angry with them. Example, she is so noisy. So we can use as giving modifying in positive and negative meaning. So she is so creative and she is so noisy. So but in the communication it gives some kind of attempts to your communicator, to your talking person with your gestures, facial expressions, like she's so creative. You are going to express positive character of the person, and by your negative facial expressions, she's so noisy, I'm going to indicate the negative character of the person. And yes, in the sentence, you may give some kind of negative characteristics about the person. Yes, it's possible because it's very natural way to indicate our ideas or opinions about one thing or one person, giving positive comments or as well as negative one. So, example, she is impatient or he is unreliable. It can sound rude or too direct. We often, in order to softening negative comments for this reason. Here are two ways of softening negative comments. Can be a bit, so it means we are measuring. Not exactly that, it can be a little bit. So it means more politely way of the communication. Example, she can a bit impatient with not very plus positive adjective. We can also soften our comments according to one person. Example, he is not very reliable. Yes, he can trust to him, but I think he is not very reliable. It means not very, not much. I'm softened it. And in the speaking exam, you have to know some kind of exam tip in order to communicate or improving your speaking skills. If you use character adjective to describe someone in the exam, you should expand on it or explain it. You should give the details all the time when you are expressing your ideas with the help of some kind of supportive evidence. For example, she is really outgoing and sociable. She is always going out with friends and colleagues. He is not very reliable. So, for example, if I email him, he won't respond. She is terribly blunt, which means she is quite often upsets us with the things she says. Yes, exam tips you should expand. Why do you consider this person is outgoing, this person is reliable, and this person is blunt? You should give some kind of examples in order to speaking while you are describing about person's character. Remember to modify the adjectives or explain or expand on each characteristics. Include at least one negative point for each person in your speaking, because nobody and nothing is perfect. It's natural way to express some kind of details in your communication. For example, as Uzbek mentality, it's very common to speak about mother-in-laws. Yes, am I right? Okay. So in our sample answer, there is one mother-in-law. So I know this is a circle, but I don't get on with my mother-in-laws, especially my mother-in-law. She's Jane. She's so noisy, always wanting to know what we are doing and who we are with, and she's terribly blunt, which means she is quite often upset with the things she comes out with, and then she can be quite stingy. We can go out for a meal with her and my father-in-law. She never offers to pay enough, even though they are much better off than us. I must say, though she's extremely clever, and I do respect her for that. She set up her own business 5 years ago, and it has gone from strength to strength. She's so self-assured and ambitious too, which I suppose is why she's so successful in business. So in the exam information in part 1 on exam, the examiner will introduce him or herself to ask you to introduce yourself and confirm your identity. The examiner will then ask you general questions on 3 familiar topic areas. The first topic will be studies, work, and where you live. Part 1 tests your ability to communicate opinions and information on everyday topics and comment your experience. So, part 1 is considered introductory interview between the interviewer and examiner. And part 2 involves a long term which lasts long during 2 minutes, and before giving your sample answer, you have 1 minute to think and making your minds in your as a given topic. And part 3, discussion with the examiner. There are some kind of questions are asked from you in order to expressing your opinion toward to these questions. So let's learn some kind of supportive tip for discussion. For example, judging from the tenses in the question, in the usage each questions, which tenses are you likely to use in your responses. For example, in the exam, you look carefully at the tenses used in part 2 questions. So, because we have got the main question and we have got 4 sub-questions in order to clarifying being the fluent answer, for whole answer, in order to supporting the answers to the main question. So that's why your first thing you should do is listen carefully to the examiner to hear which tenses they use in the questions. And the second one, does the question related to the past or present or future or something imagined? This will help you use the correct tenses when you speak. Let's mock up together. To practice your speaking skills and help you to remember the vocabulary you have learned, tell an English-speaking friend about your relatives or record yourself. Before the examination, you have to have some kind of experience. Do not write down what you want to say and read it out, because you will not able to do that in the exam. It's not allowed. You should speak in the exam speaking. You must not memorize whole sentence or whole answers. You must speak spontaneously. So you should aware of not taking structures before speaking. And also, grammar is very important. Thinking about tenses while answering to the question in every part, it's very crucial to follow the tenses, because tense is considered as a part of task response. So if you are given, describe your close friend. You should speak about, and as answering in your responses, how long have you known this person? As you can mention, so how long have you known? It's present perfect. And how did you meet? It's past simple. What kind of person is he or she? It's present simple. And you should all the time explain, as concluding the opinion about this person, you should explain why you like him or her. So we have got 3 different tenses in one exam question. So part 2, it's individual long term. It lasts 3 or 4 minutes. The examiner will give you a task card that asks you to talk about a particular topic. It may ask from you one person, one thing, one event. You should describe them. So the structure is similar, but the topic may be differ from each other's. You talk about a particular topic and includes points that you can cover in your talk. You do not have to cover all the points, and you do not have to talk about them in order. You will be given 1 minute to prepare your talk, and you will be given a pencil and paper to make your notes. Just jot down. Do not write all the tasks on your card. You shouldn't copy out. Just you must talk for 1 or 2 minutes on the topic. The examiner will ask you 1 or 2 questions on the same topic. It's part to test your ability to talk at length, organizing your ideas coherently. Yeah, it's kind of a very common sample as given in part 2 speaking. So now my useful information will end so far, and I would like to write down or record your voice as giving your responses, as describing your close friend. In the comments, I would like to see your responses, and you may connect us via social networks. If you learn something new information in my lessons, I would be very glad. Thank you for your attention, and bye-bye so far.